Yeah, I mean, I don't wear it every time, but I've been wearing it on the long
Thank you.
run. Right. Yeah, we gotta do squad listing. Alright, thank you. Okay. Yeah. Okay, well, let me, hop on. Okay, thank you. Bye. Did you hear from anybody, Maria?
No.
Okay, Laura said she's late. She's late.
Here you are.
Anything you happens with?
For these.
No.
Oh,
Just
Is it for Harvey for sure? Okay, thanks.
It's the 22nd.
July 27th.
Yeah, you said. So that you had to so it's on.
Oh, okay. So you just want to remove it?
Yes, please.
Right. That's a perfect one.
Just, no, you don't have to do that. Just put your name here.
How are you? Good, how are you? Sorry. They mind that much hair back then.
Getting comfortable. How are you, girl? Oh, I'm doing good. I'm good. Sit next to you, that's fine. So I left home about 5:30, about 5:33. I nonstop. I didn't stop. I was like,
energized about it.
I'd be like, I was like walking up. Once I got under the tunnel, came up the hill, got on level ground. I was gone.
Yeah, it's like going down uphill here.
Yeah.
Charlottesville's very hilly once you start walking.
But once I got on level ground, it was all good after.
Alright.
Well, this week's better than last week.
Yeah.
Last week was bad.
Last week, it was just hot. It was just hot there.
Stoked, did you
that
go to
again.
Chicago?
The car broke last
How was
night.
it?
That's when it was.
That's one of my favorite things.
Oh, wow.
I was sweating.
Oh, wow.
Well, Stokely's so
Okay, let me just see, I just need to see who my name tag is.
Oh, let me get this to Miss Laura.
Thank you.
Thank you. Gold wax.
Do we need to wait for
Oh,
him?
you
Oh,
can
you can
keep
just
it.
leave it right there. We'll get it.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, thank you.
So, I think you probably saw the email on our last
Yes.
221.
Okay, yeah,
We were
we'll
just
be
talking about
leaving before
like,
8 o'clock.
if the police chief is willing to talk, like what else
Yes.
can we be asking
I
for?
meant to respond.
Yeah, so I think when Kathleen and John get back, hopefully I'll make it as one of the announcements.
And we, they said to remove the housing director update.
Okay. Hey, John, one other thing. I had an interesting conversation with Nejra Laban, who teaches at Formula. She teaches the community class. She's a med student. She's really cool. So she was saying that she would be interested in like potentially doing, and I mentioned this to John, like teaching exercise classes in our communities.
Oh, that'd be good.
She's a med student, so it means like I don't know exactly what her availability would look like, but if we're interested, I'll send her a note and be like, hey, what did you have in mind?
I think that's great.
I wonder if we should also connect her with Nicole Hawker. So
Who's Nicole Hawker?
she runs Heart and Soul
On Cheerio.
on Cherry Avenue. It's a nonprofit.
Cool.
So she's also serving.
Miss Carrie, do we have to wait for Chris to say this?
You're the chair.
No, I'm just saying, because we have quorum, like,
Yeah,
we could just get started.
I was thinking
Yeah.
of Papa.
Y'all okay with getting started?
let's do it.
Let's go for it.
All right. Good evening, everyone. So I hereby call this meeting to order. Ms. Carey, do you mind calling the roll, please?
Commissioner Hicks,
Here.
Commissioner Redevelopment,
Here.
Commissioner Goldblatt,
Here.
Commissioner Wicks. Here. Commissioner Bell,
Present.
Commissioner Washington. We have a quorum.
Commissioner Wicks is starting early. Can we have a brief moment of silence, please? Thank you. We will continue to start our meeting with some general announcements, meeting dates, and/or reminders. Commissioners, you all have any important dates coming up that you all would like to share?
I don't have a date, but I do have an announcement. I see Kathleen isn't in here, but during our Commissioner Payne and Councilor Payne and my and John's 2221, we had a lengthy discussion about safety concerns in our communities and also the joint meeting we had with City Council and some updates about the new police chief. And so the Safety Committee is going to partner with the Resident Services Committee to come up with a targeted list of asks for City Council in addition to a role that we want to see from the police. I think we all know that safety is about things like healthcare and other kinds of services. And so we're going to try to come up with a set of things that we think residents really need and see if we can make send a letter as a commission asking for certain support from City Council. And so I'll send that around by email. Once we have that process wrapped up, we'll workshop it with residents in resident services and in the safety committee. And hopefully the commissioners will agree and we can sign on to try to push City Council to get some additional targeted resources for our residents to help to stabilize some of the safety issues and hopefully alleviate them in the long term.
Thank you, Dr. Goldblatt. I think we all can agree that safety is a very important issue for us. So I really appreciate you and our colleagues taking the initiative to go that extra route. I also want to commend Mr. Sales as well as the rest of staff for working diligently to ensure we have alternative methods and different things in which we've been trying as of late to maintain a level of safety within our communities. So it's really important and appreciated. Commissioners, any other items in which you all would like to share? Any other announcements? I know we have a big one coming up on Saturday, August 3rd, West Haven Day, correct? In which Mr. Sales has the opportunity to allow any resident who has a grievance or appreciation, they can dunk him in the dunking booth. He is the first person. Correct, Mr. Sales?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, so he said if you want to get anything off of your chest, that is the place to do so. And we're looking forward to it.
But if your name is Dr. Bellamy, there's a charge.
So in addition to the dunking booth, we'll have an array of different events taking place at West Haven Community Day. Starts at 10 a.m., correct, Mr. Sales?
Yes.
10 a.m., 10 to 3, right? Or 10 to 3. So, yep, for all those who are listening online, we're looking forward to seeing you there. Again, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, colleagues, on daddy duty. If there's anything else that you all would like to add, any other announcements? Okay. Hearing none, we will open up the meeting for public comments. First, we'll have our initial comments by Mr. Brandon Collins, and then subsequently we'll open it up to anyone who's online and has matters of the public. Brandon, you? Oh, I thought you had comments.
Thank you, Mr. Collins.
Do we have an update from FAR? Is anyone? Is Ms. Dreyfus on? No?
She's no longer the acting.
Well, right, but I didn't know.
Ms. Giles.
Miss Giles? Miss Giles isn't here nor online. Okay,
Any public comment?
thank you. Any public comment from anyone on Zoom? Oh, okay. You have one? Hello.
Hi.
Good evening.
Hi. I
I read about that survey for 10-year public bus transfer service, which will happen in 10 years. If I have that's due on July 31st, and I will try to turn it in. What I'd like to see happening, like, we have not, there hasn't been buses haven't been running on Sundays for the past 4 years due to COVID, which I hope will happen maybe this year or next year on to Willoughby Split Shopping Center. And yeah, I was sorry to see the Wachovia Bank closed down, and I was hoping that there's going to be a Wachovia in a different building eventually. Maybe. If I have any questions, I'll try to go to Brian Holuska.
Okay. Thank you so much. We appreciate your comments. Any?
Looks like we have some online.
All
Yeah.
right. All right. I'm sorry. I can't see who it is.
You can't see it either.
I think Ms. Dreyfus.
Oh, it's Emily. All right. Ms. Dreyfus?
Hi,
Hey,
this is Emily Dreyfus.
good evening.
I'm happy to make a comment for FAR because Latricia Giles is out sick today, unfortunately, but hopefully we'll be back in the office in a couple of days. Our new coordinator for the Residents for Respectful Research program just started last week. Her name is Wendy, and unfortunately I'm spacing out on her last name, sorry. But we're really happy to have her on board, and we're also in the hiring process for a community organizer who will also coordinate the internship program because Asia Green has moved more into specifically focusing on youth programming. So if anyone knows of someone who might be interested in applying for the internship coordinator role, we would be happy to hear about that. And West Haven Community Day is definitely a hot topic right now. And the sports physicals, free sports physicals will be available, I think, from 10 to 2, if I remember correctly. So I know that's a really popular event for lots of families, and we're looking forward to seeing you there. And otherwise, FAR has been working on redevelopment and is happy to see the progress going on at South First Street and also with the parallel track work at the smaller sites. So I think that's all I have for now. Thanks.
Thank you, Ms. Dreyfus.
It looks like we have another hand on Zoom.
Where do you see?
I think that was Emily.
Doesn't Nakia Walker has her hand up?
Oh.
Am I right?
You see Nicole?
Yeah.
She doesn't.
Oh, there she is.
Now it is there.
Mayor Walker, good evening. The floor is yours.
She was asking me to unmute. Can you all hear me now?
Yes, ma'am. Good evening, Mayor Walker. How are you?
Good evening. How are you all?
All right.
Good.
Quick comment. I planned to attend the meeting last month with Ms. Doreen Wells, who spoke in front of you all. She had originally reached out to me after making a Facebook post about her attempts to figure out where her mother and an aunt was on the waiting list. She shared her concerns with you all, and as of last Friday, according to her, she has not received any clear communication about the process. I was coming last month to talk just about a bigger picture that I have seen from talking to people over the past few months. A former employee, as I'm sure the board is aware, reached out to me a few months back to talk about some internal issues they were seeing. I reached out to Mr. Sells and Mr. Bellamy about the employee and ended up meeting with them, with the employee who at that point was already leaving for a new job. One of the things the employee pointed out was, and one of the things that they were reprimanded for internally was that they were trying to figure out the system. How does this voucher system, computer input system work? Is one of the things that they told me. I'm not there, so I'm only sharing the information that I received. If you couple that with Ms. Wells not knowing where her family members are on the waiting list, on that Facebook post and other Facebook posts that started after that post, there was one woman on there who said, I've been on the housing list for 27 years, and I don't know today where I am. This was part of when we hired, something that we want to make sure that people were aware. I know Mr. Sells has said that there are letters going out. Ms. Wells and others have made comments about the inconsistency or the turnover with staff, that they've been receiving inconsistent communication. With the work that CRHA is doing, the community should not question where they are on housing lists, if those lists even exist or not, and how long they will be on. I understand that some of the things they may not be able to receive accurate information, but if you are on a 5 or more year list, people should know that. And so there definitely appears to be, this employee sent me pictures of what, were the filing system, which was a very antiquated process. And I would understand that you would not be able to tell somebody if that was the system where they were in it. And it's something that we need to fix. I'm coming to the board because in the past I have shared with Mr. Sells directly, but I know there were some comments as if I was trying to, get a favor or do something for one person. And I was coming to the meeting with Ms. Wells, who was going to share her individual comments, but I was going to share like the system issues that I'm seeing. I'm a systems person, and we want these systems to work well for the community at large. People who may not know who to reach out to, people who may not know how to contact the board. So there's definitely some challenges there that you all can look into and make sure that system is working more effectively.
Nikaya, you cut out. Kaya?
Yeah, more effectively was my last word.
That was it. The last thing we heard you say was systems. You were saying...
There appears to be some major system issues. It's not operating effectively, and there definitely seems to be some things that can be put in place to make sure it's working for the community more.
Okay. Thank you, Mayor Walker. All right. What? No, okay. Were you about to say something? You don't have to. I'm just asking. You grabbed the mic, so I didn't know. Were you about to say something?
We have a wait list system. We accept applications in paper, and we accept them online. The ones that we receive as paper, we have to then take those and enter them in the system. We have a preference system. It's spelled out in the ACUP and it's spelled out in the admin plan. Our public housing wait list is open. And so as folks come in and their preference and their scoring is higher, no matter when they submitted their application is bumped to the top. And that's the type of system that we have. We can close that wait list and it would stop that from happening, but the wait list has been open. And in our our ACUP, we say we're gonna keep it open because we want folks who are homeless to have an opportunity to get housing. And so that is the way that system works. And I really can't comment on some of the other statements that were made.
Do you think it would be helpful to, I don't know if it's, I don't like this. Is there transparency into how we score the applications?
Yeah, it's in the admin plan for HCV and it's in the ACUP for public housing. We don't score them. it's in the system, it's automatic, and so it's the boxes that the applicants check. So if they do it themselves online, then it's completely up to them. And if they do a paper application, it's the box that they check on the paper application, and then that's what's getting translated into our ERD system. And then the system generates the list itself.
But does it say it on the application? Like, I'm just wondering, like, it
Yeah,
seems.
on the application, it says local preference, and then it says the points for it. It says homeless, and then it says the points for that as well.
Okay. It just doesn't seem like, my perception is that people do not understand, are not understanding, like, they think that they get on the wait list and then they should get off the wait list and get a place to live. I mean, it's kind of like, there was someone at the safety committee who had applied for a transfer and thought that instantly turned into a transfer. And so I'm just wondering if there's a way for us to provide more transparency, or somehow help. It doesn't seem like folks are understanding.
Yeah, we can figure out what we can do on our end to provide that additional transparency. Our wait lists are all fairly long. The public housing wait list is over 2,000 families. The HCV wait list is 1,700 families. And so it takes a long time to go through that wait list. And with the public housing, since it's open, families can continue applying. Unlike the HCV wait list, which is closed. And so the families that are on there will get service, but it takes time to get through that list. The public housing one, it's rolling, and so as folks continue to apply and their points are higher, then they move to the top. Even if you applied 15 years ago, that doesn't matter. It all goes based on the preference points first, and then time and date that the application was submitted.
I think it may.
So theoretically, though, you could, I'm sorry, Len.
No.
So would you come out better if you just kept applying, based on what you just said?
It would only come out better if your preference changed. So like if you weren't homeless at first, but then you became homeless, but then at that point you should just come in and change that in the system. And then you don't lose that spot of when you applied. Your points just bump up based upon that scoring.
Gotcha.
So as long as your housing composition doesn't change, you still aren't local to Charlottesville, and you're not homeless, then you wouldn't move positions. And so we do have some families, unfortunately, every member of their household will apply. And so right now we have 8 families have the same address, because each one applied trying to put their name on the list.
I think, I'm sorry.
No, please go ahead.
I think it may behoove us, since we have a new communications outreach person, right? We brought that person in, right, Mr. Sells? Yeah, oh,
Hello.
Sure.
Linda in the back.
Linda?
Lynn.
Excuse me, I'm sorry, Lynn. Nice to meet you, Lynn. Lynn and Mr. Sells, respectively. I think it may behoove us to put together an infographic of sorts that explains, that we could put out on social media as well as disseminate through our channels, that explains not only the waitlist process, but the different kinds of vouchers. And then in addition to the different kinds of vouchers, like when we, or how a person goes through the process. Because to Commissioner Wicks's point, persons just don't know. And while we may have, communicated and talked about it, I think that we have to take just different approaches. So that could be one. And then I would love to hear from Mr. Sells as well as the rest of the board or the commissioners. We may want to have a waitlist town hall of sorts in which we invite the community and we go over, again, the different kinds of vouchers as well as this is how this process works. And if we do it once and, we can bring folks in and we explain it, even if we put it online and allow persons to watch it, if it's recorded, people can also go back and watch. And when you couple that with the social media posts, I think it just allows for the information to be disseminated in different ways. Doesn't have to be tomorrow, and I'm not saying next week, but maybe that's something that we could put together.
So I like the idea of a town hall, but one thing, and I don't know if Mayor Walker is still on, and I don't want to misconstrue it, but part of what her comments seemed to be indicating was that there's a discrepancy between what people are told they're going to receive in terms of updates on the wait list, and then what they say that they actually receive. And so that seems to be one of the system pieces that's missing, that people go on the wait list, they'll be on for years, and they don't get any updates, and they don't know what's going on. And so I'm wondering if that's something we can also review, making sure, just seeing like what are just a review of all those communications, and making sure that I realize that there are there's a variety of restrictions, but making sure that those are being communicated in ways that people are receiving them, so that when people are in the system, they know where in the system they are, and they have some understanding of what's going on. So I do think that's right, like what it means to be on the waiting list needs to be explained. But I think also it sounds like people who perhaps do understand what's on the waiting list still might go years and say, I haven't heard anything for years, what's going on? And so it would be helpful to make sure that if there are things falling through the gaps, that we catch those.
So we currently do, we do a yearly pool and send out letters to ask folks if they still want to be on the wait list. We use the mail system, and so it's not the best. We're working to improve that with our software system by using some of the email functions that are available in that. But that software also allows folks to see where they are on the wait list. But not a lot of our folks take advantage of that. And so we're working on ways to roll that out and get folks to use it more. But those are conversations that we are having.
So this does seem to Professor Bellamy and Chair Bellamy's point that if we had a town hall, I think it would be good to review the policies, but perhaps also to solicit some feedback from people about like what's the best way to reach you? How could we do communication if paper mail isn't working, which makes sense if people are moving, like they just might, USPS will forward for now, it's hardly anything, like 3 months, I think, and then that's it. So like a lot of things can end up getting kind of shuffled around. It might give us some clues, even for our intake system, of what we should be asking for that might help to make sure that people actually get the communications we send out.
Yes.
And I want to be clear, I don't want in any way for this to seem as if it's a slight to staff, because I know staff is, and I know you guys aren't saying that. I'm just reiterating, I know staff works diligently in terms of ensuring they try to get communications out, just a way in terms of to also be helpful.
I think this is a real challenge, especially when you think about people changing cell phone numbers, maybe not having a stable email address. And so this is more just about saying, is there a way that we can try to see are there things that people might suggest that might allow this system to be a little bit more durable, so that people do, when we send out notifications, they get them.
Thank you. With that being said, are there any other comments from the public? Okay. We'll move forward with approval of the board minutes from the June 24th, 2024 meeting.
I second.
Motion has been moved in second. Ms. Carey, would you like to call a vote, please?
Sure. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
All right, motion passes. Next up, we have our housing director update. This item can be found on attachment B.
Can we duplicate this on this item? This is the item I was talking about.
Oh, yeah, he has to remove this.
Okay.
The housing director update and move to the HCV program update
All right.
for tonight, sorry.
You got it.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, so the HCV program manager update.
All right, so good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
So far, we have a total of 683 vouchers leased up for a total half of $680,000 and a utility subsidy of $78,000. We have 1,700 families on our HCD wait list. There are other wait lists that are out there, but those aren't controlled by us, and that's the crossings, which they have 1,200 families on their wait list. We do have some special programs that we're currently leasing up. The Fostering Youth Initiative, which is a voucher, special fund voucher that we're partnering with the city on. We currently have 13 leased up. We have 12 additional that we're looking to lease up. And then we have one VASH voucher, which is a veteran voucher that we're also looking to lease up. The remainder of our vouchers are on freeze. We're currently in a shortfall for the voucher program of, I think, roughly $800,000. That number dropped significantly today, so we're still using the previous number until we can confirm that it is a change. But that has stopped us from leasing up any additional vouchers. Our per unit cost per voucher increased from roughly $750 last year to now we're paying $950 per voucher. And so you times that by 683 vouchers, and that gets you into a shortfall. And so we've applied for additional funding from HUD to cover the shortfall, but it will not allow us to lease up additional vouchers, so pull families from our wait list. We're still able to serve the families that are currently housed, and we're still able to serve the families that are being housed in the special vouchers through FYI and VASH. You all have any questions on that?
No, sir.
Okay. We currently have 2 vouchers on the street, and we completed a total of 34 inspections last month. We completed 56 annual recertifications, and we have 2 recertifications that are currently past due, but we're in the process of getting those families compliant.
Okay.
That's all I have for that report.
Thank you. Just really quick, Mr. Sells, you made me think when you talked about the youth position. There's a young man that lives in our on one of our properties. His name is Zamir Faulkner. He lives in West Haven. He has been serving as the camp counselor for the last 2 weeks for our coding academy, We Code 2. He's done a phenomenal job, and just want to make sure we gave him and highlighted him, showed him some love. Zamir is 19 years old, and he was attending Old Dominion University and transferred to Patrick Henry. He's looking to go back to Old Dominion. He's also a basketball star. He has made 2 game-winning shots in the Tonsor League and is on track to be an all-star. So, Zamir, I promised you I would say something about you at the Housing Authority meeting. You probably aren't listening, but I have 5 witnesses that I did shout you out. Let's give him a round of applause. We are very proud of you, Zamir, and keep up the good work, champion.
We love Zamir at West Haven.
Yes, Zamir is doing very well.
Can I ask just one thing about the HCV thing? The portable vouchers, they've got 24, I see. Are these people who are saying we can't find anything even with our voucher?
Sometimes that's the case, and sometimes they're saying, hey, I want to move to New York. Like I
Okay.
had one coming today
Okay,
and
that's fine, whatever.
said I'm moving to Yonkers.
Okay,
So-
cool. That's awesome.
Sorry, we probably shouldn't laugh at that. Thank you for that report, Mr. Sales. I'm sorry. It's on you.
Oh, why is it on me now?
I thought you were running it.
Okay, I guess I will now. Okay, so now we will do the finance update. Hi. Just telling you to-
So a couple of updates. We are in the last week of testing our Procure Pay system. That is going to be like our full paperless invoicing system, making sure that's flowing for everybody that has to approve things and all that right now. So with any luck, that'll go live next week. Once that becomes live, and about a 2 to 3 week time frame after that for build out our vendor cafe system that we've talked about will then come online as well, so we can make ACH payments to landlords or any other trade vendors. So looking forward to that. Will make everybody's life a little easier. Other than that, the packet you have is a fiscal quarter 1 P&L. So if you guys have any questions on that, just let me know.
Thank you, sir.
Any highlights from that? Nothing too crazy. Pretty standard. We didn't have any wildly, immaterial items. We've added some staff, so there's more expenses on salaries, but other than that, it's
Good.
nothing out of the ordinary.
What were, I don't know if I see it, how have you, it's been so hot, what about utility costs, have they been higher, or did we budget for this?
A little bit, but yeah,
Okay.
it's still, I think we're within budget, you know, still being in the first quarter, so.
Hey, TC, didn't we also get the HCV for partial payment? from-
Yes, yeah, we did receive, back to the HCV update, we did receive partial payment from HUD at the end of May to help out with, you know, that shortfall money that they had owed us
Good.
from past years.
Good.
So that was about 343,000, so.
And they owe us how much more?
They still owe us, as we're working that number out, it's somewhere in the $680,000, $700,000 range. So,
Yeah, better collect before
So, yeah.
November.
Thank you, Dr. Copeland. She is a trip. Is there any other comments, commissioners? We're gonna cut off Dr.
Thank you,
Copeland's
staff.
microphone for the rest of the evening. Next up, we have the executive director update. It'll just be verbal.
Yes. All right, so I wanted to start out by giving a follow-up to the meeting last month. So I'm working with the city to amend the SISRAP agreement, which will improve the referral process from outside agencies to CRHA for the SISRAP program. We also met with Ange Kahn and her team from the Rapid Rehousing team last week or maybe 2 weeks ago to start collaborating a little bit more about our response and then how we work together on both the housing program and in the HCV department. So that's my update from that last meeting. For staffing, we're currently hiring for a director of property management and an HCV program manager. Our current HCV program manager is part-time, and so she'll be leaving us eventually, and so we're working to hire a full-time program manager. We also received the Jobs Plus grant, which is $1.6 million.
Good.
And so we have 3 positions, well, 3.5 positions that we'll be looking to fill for that. And we're looking to hire some residents from the community for those positions, and so they are posted on Indeed. We also have 2 maintenance technicians positions open, 1 property manager and 1 assistant property manager position. We had our compliance director start today, and so she will be doing compliance checks over both the long-term housing tax credit, public housing, and HCV programs. The tenant file and processes for our staff completing those files.
Can I just ask one question about the grants? I know, and I think we talked about this in our 2221, but Centara, there's something going on with Centara. Do we have, I know that we've been trying to partner, looking at healthy communities and stuff like that. Do we have other ideas of places to target if Centara's not gonna work out from now on or be a good partner?
Yeah, so we are currently in conversation with UVA,
Okay.
School of Nursing, and we're looking at other options. But we're hoping we can continue that relationship, because at one point UVA School of Nursing had a relationship at
Good.
Crescent Halls.
Okay.
For procurement update, the SOP contract has been awarded, and we're estimating a 60 to 90 day turnaround, and that's when the actual product will come back to the board for final approval. We're currently reviewing security bidders. We anticipate coming back to the board on August 8th with a selection and for you all's approval.
Okay. Do we have an update on the SOPs?
Yeah, I just gave that one.
My bad, I'm sorry.
It's been
Can you
awarded,
say- I'm sorry.
estimated turnaround 60 to 90 days,
Thank you.
but it has been awarded.
Sorry about that.
Safety concerns. We do have a meeting scheduled with the city manager and the FAR AD for August the 1st. We will provide the information that was previously developed from the safety committee a couple years ago. And so he'll have that information going in. We did request that the police chief and deputy city manager Ashley Marshall attend, but I don't know if they will be able to attend. I had a meeting with Ridge Street residents, a couple of Ridge Street residents, a week ago. And so I told them about what we're doing to address some of the safety issues that we have at South First Street. They were happy with that. They did ask to have conversations in the future, just to be a good neighbor, and so I did commit to that. We do have a total of 5 pending evictions based upon safety concerns. All 5 of them involve shootings. And so we are doing some things around safety and having some meetings because we do understand that is a big concern. We do have residents at every site asking for us to do more. And so we are looking to see what more we can do with our resources and with the partnerships from the city. For redevelopment, Preston Halls is 99% complete. We have 2 minor issues that are being addressed to complete the VHDA final inspection. South First Street Phase 2 demolition has started. They're about 40% complete, and they're estimated to be complete by the end of August. 6th Street Phase 1, we have 1 family left for relocation. That project is now back in HUD's hand for final approval. We did an amendment to bring back 6 public housing units back to the site. We previously were removing all the public housing and only bringing back vouchers. After talking with residents and stakeholders, we made the decision to amend the plan to bring back public housing units at 6th Street Phase 1. And the loan officer agreed to reduce the interest rate to make that happen. So it wasn't possible at first, but VHG worked with us on that. We're estimating a fall/winter demo. Parallel track, the appliances start tomorrow at Madison Avenue. They're estimated to be completed by close of business on Wednesday at Madison Avenue, and then it is Riverside, and then Mickey, and then the homes. So by the end of August, all the residents in AMP4 should have new appliances. And porch lights at West Haven have been completed as of today. The site lights at West Haven have all been ordered and will be here at the end of September. The wall packs for Riverside, Madison, and Mickey will be completed during the electrical upgrade when we do the HVAC. And I already gave the update with resident services, the $1.6 million for the Jobs Plus, but they also received a grant for around $250,000 for the Ross grant. So the resident service department has been really successful with grants this last year. So we will be able to provide our residents with a lot of services in both West Haven and in the smaller sites with the grant awards we received recently.
This is an old agenda item, but in reaching out through the city's contact for Dominion, did that help? Did we get a response?
Not really, but with the work that we're doing with the switchover, we actually now have a point person that has to work with us all the way through, and so that is helping us fix that problem.
Okay.
But it's progress, and
Yeah,
so
whatever.
we have to take what we can get.
Volunteer somebody to help us, it's okay.
Okay.
One,
That
thanks.
concludes- Oh, sorry.
I want to thank staff for following up on that referral process update and meeting on rapid rehousing and, of course, on safety. I think that, for the record, we passed that along as advocacy during that joint meeting, and it seems like it opened up an opportunity for the director and staff to speak with the city and kind of keep it rolling as we talk. Yeah, and then Dominion has moved slow, so that's a starting point.
Yes.
Okay. Anything else, colleagues? Thank you, Mr. Sells. That concludes the executive director update. Are there any other public comments? Okay. Hearing none, I'd like to thank the team for a very efficient meeting. We will entertain a motion for adjournment.
I motion.
I'll second the motion.
Motion has been moved and second. We would like to call a voice vote, Ms. Carey.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Hearing none concludes our meeting. Thank you all.
I have to put the door on it.
Oh, wow.
This is the very first Keep It Sexy country, and it's the Winter Crescent Falls.
Cool.
And it's,
Oh, I love it.
and all kinds of,
This is so great. Where did this come from?
we just had an idea of it. I really like it. Which has culminated in me being a carpenter in my damn carport.
Integrate that more.
It needs its door still.
You gonna do the door?
Yes, it's gonna be glass. It's gonna be plexiglass. But, yeah, not real glass.
You didn't make any other ones?
No, I didn't make the little free pantries, but after we did that, I talked to Lois about it, and I talked to Jenna.
Good night. Good night.
It'll get